Can you tell me what Mr. Dunn was doing upon the day of his death?
I can, but there is nothing very special to say. I was in the laboratory when I saw Mr. Dunn heading towards me. Tuesday is the day of his weekly visit. It was supposed to be at 9, but he was 10 minutes late, as usual.
And then?
Well, he came in to say good morning. Then I saw him spend 2 or 3 minutes by the plants outside the laboratory. After that, he ran out in the direction of the nursery, where Mr. Hamish was working. He was always in a rush during the inspection, you see. I would pity anyone who stood in his way.
Pity the fool who stood in the way of a plant man's way.
And that was the last time you saw him?
Yes. I stayed in the laboratory until 20 minutes to 11, when I heard the cries of Albert and Mr. Hamish from the large glass house. I joined them as soon as I could, for I knew that something must be very wrong.
What exactly were you doing in the laboratory?
I was recording an experiment for my thesis. I only stopped my work once when Mr. Hamish visited me briefly around 10 o'clock.
You say you were recording an experiment when the tragedy occurred. Might I listen to the roll?
Certainly. Please do. You will find it in the laboratory. It is number 320.
All right,
Thank you, miss.
We'll go double check that. Oh.
Everyone has gone, Holmes. The way is clear.
All right, before I do, I'm gonna head back. I'm gonna head to the laboratory just to hear, make sure she is where she said she was.
Here it is.
Just to prove that she was indeed where she was.
These plants, classified as shrubs or grasses, have adapted to their arid environment due to a system of underground roots.
This recording seems very long. It is unnecessary to listen to all of it. Miss White was in the laboratory, as she told us.
Okay, good. So that's done. Now we can go recreate. Just run over all the plants. Just ruining everything in Kew Gardens. Botany, man. I don't know. I could never get into it. I'm sure a lot of people... Obviously, it's a profession. So someone is... It's got to be someone who enjoyed it. But it's just not my thing. I don't get why people were making fun of him that he didn't know shit about plants. Hailing the spores. Escaping the room. Was there only 2? I think so. He was like right up in there investigating it.
When Montague Dunn was standing close by the plants, the caterpillars were released and caused the deadly spores to activate. Panicking, and likely already half asphyxiated, Montague Dunn started back and knocked over the bust. He rushed to the door, but it was locked. He had to force it open with his shoulder. We already know the outcome. Montague Dunn collapsed and died not far from the pool. Well, it is time to perform our experiment on the ventilation system.
Okay, so we gotta leave Watson here.
The caterpillars could only fall from the ventilation duct. Our caterpillars are in place. I'll activate the ventilation system so that they fall down. Watson, stay here and observe.
All right, Holmes.
Alright, so I gotta go all the way back. God, let me run! Jesus. So, hold on. I gotta make sure all the vents are sealed. Or check all the vents or something. I can't remember.
This is one of the nursery.
Oh, hold on. Before I jump the gun.
Seed house.
I shouldn't have gone in this way. There's more doors. Oh, well. I think I can actually start it. And then you go back from here.
The power is on. The engine has started. The ventilation system is working.
Alright, let's go check and see if the cats can drop.
Seed house. This is one of the
Oh, right.
Excellent. This ventilation fan is working. Let us see if I can activate the other one.
Which is in this room here. That's what they're getting you to follow, the ventilation system. I already know where all these switches are, though. Hell, even before I didn't even have to turn these on when I did it originally. They're pretty obvious.
Perfect. Now I just need to find Watson to check the result.
It works perfectly, Holmes. Bravo. Now, if you could just help me to get rid of these caterpillars.
Perfect. Now we know how the murder of Montague Dunn was carried out, by activating both Albert's and Mr. Hamish's fans.
But only from Mr. Hamish's workplace would it be possible to see when Montague Dunn entered the Colonial Collection Room.
So now I think we have to do a little simulation to simulate the deadly. Hamish is guilty. Hamish could be the killer. He had the opportunity to steal the divine syndicate's plans to simulate them from his workplace directly after he had locked Montague Dunn inside the Colonial Collections room. But it leads to another option. Gotta get him arrested. Because he did kill him.
Let's go to Scotland.
He's the only one with the knowledge. And he could watch through the windows because these were super clear. So he had to open it and wait for the precise moment. And he activated his fan. But the thing remains, who activated the other fan? Because it required 2 fans to do so. Scotland Yard. And that is what we must find out. Alright, Lestrade, we have some information for you, sir.
Inspector, I believe that Martin Hamish is guilty of the murder of Montague Dunn.
Aha! I knew it. I'll send the lads around to arrest him.
Very good. I shall wait to hear from you.
Sometime later. At least they don't make you wait. That'd be kind of pointless anyway. Hurry up! Hurry, brah. Hurry up. These damn loading screens, they kill me. I mean, I know this was a port to the PS4. I mean, it was originally intended for like PS3, Xbox 360, PC. Then they ported it to PS4 and Xbox One. That's from what I got.
Inspector, I came here as quickly as I could.
Martin Hamish is in the large glass house. There's no need to hurry.
Let's go check it out. Ah!
Holmes, my
Hanged
God.
himself.
Yes, we found him like that.
Our messing around with the ventilation system didn't go unnoticed. Mr. Hamish realized that we knew.
Inspector, could you arrange the body, please? I should like to examine it.
Okay, let's take a look.
The mark around the neck is very visible. He died instantly.
This letter. We'll read that. Life has become a living hell. I find it unbearable. Dunn deserved to die, but I cannot forgive myself for having his blood upon my hands. We Hamishes seem to have always fallen victim to our circumstance, and I find myself to be no exception. I must atone, and I shall do so here and now. Farewell. Let's make, before you check the feet.
Holmes, his left shoe is unique. This anomaly is often a characteristic of...
A club foot. Bravo, Watson. That is the key element of this case.
Okay. Hamish acted alone, was unable to run due to the tibial torsion of his clubfoot. Therefore, we should find out if he had sufficient time to lock the door. Did he have an accomplice? He was a limper. Alright, we'll talk with Lestrade right now.
Something about this rings very oddly.
Why do you say that, Mr. Holmes?
Why? Because of Mr. Hamish's club foot. Oh, I deserve to be kicked from here to Charing Cross. I should have noticed it.
But, Mr. Holmes, I can't see why.
No, I don't suppose you do. You must recall that Mr. Dunn was locked inside the Colonial Collection Room by the murderer. If it was Mr. Hamish, he would have had to run up to his workplace to trigger the fan situated above it, taking into consideration the condition of his foot.
Well, it is still possible.
Perhaps, but it is rather strange that such a person as Mr. Hamish decided to base his plan on the speed of his gait.
You mean to say that somebody helped him?
So the suicide is questionable?
Correct. Mr. Hamish accuses only himself in his letter, and so the investigation stops.
Possibly an accomplice, then? That idea had not occurred to me, Mr. Holmes.
I have another idea, Inspector. Thanks to the testimony that we have collected, we are able to rebuild the events as they took place that day.
With a timeline, such as we did in the Jack the Ripper case.
Precisely.
Alright, so that what
the
we
map
got...
at the entrance of Kew Gardens should help us with our timeline.
Alright, so I have to check the timeline and judge it from there.
Let us analyze the facts and statements, so that we may recreate the events of that morning.
Okay, so... Martin Hamish and Dunn went to meet Albert in the Seed House at 9:30, so we put this here. It was around 20 minutes to 10 when Hamish and Montague Dunn went out to the backyard. When Hamish and Dunn... 20 minutes to 10. Oh, geez, sorry. So, these guys are here. After 10 minutes, Dunn was recommenced his inspection and entered the dry tropics. So done at, they said 10 minutes later, right? So he went here at 9:50. Hamish returned to the seed house at the same time. Okay. Hamish had a conversation with Miss White at 10 o'clock. Okay. Miss White was in the lab until 10:40 when she saw and joined them there. So they all joined at 10:40. Hamish ran to Albert as soon as he observed that Montague Dunn was unwell, which was at around 10:30. Okay. Albert was in the seed house the entire morning. He observed Hamish. Hold on a minute. Seed house the entire morning. He observed Hamish returning from visiting Miss White at 10:30. At 10 minutes past, so 10:10. He was here. And he was here. Okay, let's play the events.
Let us summarize. Montague Dunn was poisoned inside the Colonial Collection Room. He forced open the door, which means that someone locked him inside there at 10:20. Martin Hamish was last seen at 10:10. This means that he has approximately 10 minutes to lock the door of the Colonial Collection Room. Given that he was club-footed, it is doubtful. Albert also has 10 minutes to lock the door of the Colonial Collection Room, which is quite enough time. Miss White was last seen at 10 o'clock, which means that she had approximately 20 minutes to lock the door. More than enough time. Perfect, Watson. Now, let us ascertain who assisted Martin Hamish in killing Montague Dunn.
Alright, let's finish this. So, Albert's timeline with Hamish's timeline. Albert, okay, are not likely accomplices. Unlikely that Albert would have had the opportunity, and 10 minutes would not have been enough time to lock the door. While he did have enough time, he didn't have the knowledge. That's all I'm saying. White had a lot of time. He's going to lock the door and alerted Martin Hamish to activate. Which leads to believe White is an accomplice. And that is the actual answer. White was the accomplice. She had more than enough time. She was being fired. She had perfect reason to kill him. And while Albert did not, because while he was angry at his father, he didn't know enough about botany to assist, you know what I mean? And he wouldn't kill his own father. So that's my thing. And I'm going to condemn her. Fuck that bitch. Fuck that bitch.
But Holmes, how can you be certain that we'll find Miss White here?
It is obvious, Watson. Just use your brain.
I am using it. I do use it.
He's a bit of a
Now
dick.
that the rope has tightened around Martin Hamish, Miss White must act to erase all traces of her implication. After the suicide of her accomplice, there is one final trace remaining: the deadly plants of the Divine Syndicate. She will be there.
Very good. Shall we go?
Just one moment. Now listen to me, Watson. I shall see her alone. You will conceal yourself behind her, quietly.
Whatever are you planning?
Nothing spectacular. The impulses of women have always been a mystery to me. But she is a bold one, and so we must be cautious.
All right. You can count on me, Holmes.
All right, we got to go say hello to her.
Mr. Holmes, good day to you.
You do not seem surprised, Miss White.
Well, I was expecting you.
Not for too long, I believe. So please tell me, as it is still unclear, who planned the murder? Was it you?
You were wrong, Mr. Holmes.
It was Martin Hamish, then. You managed to convince him to take on a more prominent role.
You could not be further from the truth.
You think that you can fool me?
You don't care what I think.
It is difficult to care about someone who is capable of pushing a man to his suicide. It is over, Miss White. The police will be here any minute.
Over, perhaps. One moment you were here, and the next, you were on the other side.
The other side? No! Stop!
She's gonna try and poison herself. We gotta stop it.
I beg you not to do this, Miss White.
Don't come any closer.
Be prepped. Be prepped.
Please remain calm. We can help you.
Not one step further. Don't try to stop me.
Watson, you gotta save her.
Stop this foolishness. You cannot truly want to die.
No, it's too late.
Go, man! Whoop-de-whoop. Watson in the house.
Well done, Watson. She was not faking.
Miss White, you have no right to take your own life.
Dr. Watson? Did you just save me? Or worse?
All right, let's take a look. We did perfectly. She was the accomplice. We condemned her. And I am accepting that decision. All right, we got Themis personality ranking. So that was that. I'm annoyed that I had to redo that mission. Just balls. So it's not going to go to the next mission because it's going to kick me back to the main menu. But the next mission, Chapter 6, it's coming up right after this one. So stay tuned. We will be back.